I pledge allegiance to the bag. 2023, I'm finna get this money and make these hoes mad.
Listen, in my humble opinion, Trump with this big beautiful bill is trying to humble a lot of you whole professionals that are nurses. Because you whole professionals only got that degree to make that money and turn the hospital into one big ass orgy. All you doing is wearing tight ass scrubs that fit tighter than the extra small with your new bright tennis shoes every day. If you bend over to touch your toes, they're gonna split right up there. When you in the hospital and you look at that nursing station and it's empty and you only see one nurse because they out in that hospital in stock rooms, supply closets, and empty rooms.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today, nobody's safe. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
A lot of people are blaming these baddie nurses for all of the foul things that's happening in the nursing industry today. There's unprofessionalism in all different types of industries, but for some reason, nurses are being targeted for doing unprofessional things in the workplace. We're about to talk about it, but before we do, I need y'all to do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
I knew nursing was going to stop being professional. I seen it coming when I started seeing the type of people who were getting nursing degrees and the type of people they were allowing to get licensed to become nurses. It's the ones who's in the club every weekend in these toxic relationships. And just by me working in the hospital, I was just like, yeah, something's coming. There's about to be a shift when I started seeing that. So I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked.
Most nurses are expressing outrage after they are no longer being considered a profession.
On my degree, it says registered professional nurse.
Emily Spenlove is an ICU nurse. How has this left you feeling?
Especially since our country has experienced something recently, such as the pandemic, and being labeled in the media as like healthcare heroes. And then going from that to less than a decade later being labeled as not even a professional, I would describe it as a slap in the face.
It all has to do with how the one big beautiful bill changes the nation's student loan system. By not being recognized as professionals, nurses are limited on how much they can borrow to pursue their graduate degree. The cap, $100,000. The concern is that this could lead to an even greater nursing shortage.
Well, yeah, man. Yeah. I knew that this was coming. Trump was like, listen, nobody's paying back these student loans. Why are we going to allow people to continue to borrow money if nobody's paying back these student loans? Do you understand what that means? That means that there's just more and more debt accumulating every single year. He was like, nah, man, y'all not professionals anymore. Go home.
It put the nursing profession and the future of nursing kind of in danger. It is deterring a lot of current nurses from pursuing advanced practice nursing degrees as well.
It's really hurtful.
26-year-old Tessa McDonald is a pediatric ICU nurse.
I just don't understand how that wouldn't be professional. Everyone wants a nurse who knows what they're doing, who's kind and compassionate.
One of the most trusted professions is nursing. We are the backbone of healthcare.
The Department of Education tells us they are trying to prompt nursing schools to lower the cost of tuition, adding that it's not a value judgment about the importance of nurses. They also say that the loan limits do not apply to undergraduate programs.
So today in my life, my acute care nurse practitioner degree is not a professional degree anymore. And it's giving, give me my money back. I commented this on another video, but it's giving, relieve my loans for my fake degree, please. And I'm not kidding. I'm at a point now where I'm like, if it's not a professional degree, if it's not going to be recognized, if we're not going to bring more people in, if when you go to surgery, you're not likely to have a CRNA to do your anesthesia, if when you go to a clinic or an urgent care, you're not likely to have an advanced practice provider like an MP or a PA treat you, I'm giving my money back. And let me be free.
I think what happened with the nursing industry is the same thing that happened with the NBA. When the pants was loose on the basketball players, they had more free balls to ball. Also, when the pants was a lot looser on the nurses, it was a lot of professionalism because nobody was able to see their tendonism.
If you are an educator,
teacher, principal, district administrator, school counselor, school social worker, TA, paraprofessional, all the above. I need you to listen up, like immediately, because we have a code red. So if you have not been in tune with the headlines, this past week, the U.S. Department of Education has released a list of degree areas that they no longer are classifying as quote unquote professional, meaning that there are certain areas that are classified as professional degrees that therefore qualify for higher caps for financial aid and funding. I'm going to show you this list right here on the screen of these areas that used to be considered professional degree areas. And as of this past week, the U.S. Department of Education has said they are no longer classified as professional degree areas. Take a look at the list. Yes, education is on it. So I named this because I think for many educators, they are risk averse and they have been over relying on their job for safety. It is no longer safe. It is no longer safe.
Thanks to Trump and his bitch ass administration, I have to drop out of school. Yep, you heard me correctly. I have to drop out of school. And if you're wondering why, the reason is y'all president decided to not only take my degree, but take pretty much most degrees that women and people of color, the degrees that we mainly get, he's now deeming them as non-professional degrees. Which at first I was like, who gives a shit? Fuck him and his opinion. No, this shit way deeper than his opinion. Because what happened is he cut funding for these non-professional degrees. And mind you, I'm in a whole ass doctoral program. But since, y'all president just got bored and he couldn't find shit else to do, said, why work on world hunger? Why work on equal rights? I'm gonna make shit even more uneven than what the fuck it's already been. I'm gonna take all the degrees women and black people get, and I'm gonna make them non-professional. And like I was saying, he cut the funding. So here's how it goes. You only get a limited amount of funding for a non-professional degree program, which is not a lot. So yeah, now I gotta drop out of school. I am not happy about this at all, but I don't have a choice. So yeah, fuck Donald Trump.
Nurses, I need y'all to come to the table. Come to the table. I need y'all to stop glamorizing the profession. Okay? Stop 100% glamorizing. Nursing is a profession of humility. It's the profession you go in when you want to help other people. Not a showy profession. As a nurse, yes, you can be proud because you're helping others. For all those photo shoots and all those things that you are doing. So when other people say, oh, wow, nursing is such a glamorous profession. Let me go be a nurse so I can make some money. It's about helping people when they're at their worst.
There are huge changes taking place with the Department.
Exactly, man. And that's what I thought about. Like, if I'm going to be a nurse, obviously I have like a passion for taking care of people. Not only that, the money is still the same. Just because the degree isn't professional, isn't the money still the same? The salary is still going to be the same, and you're still going to have a degree. You're still going to have a bachelor's degree, except it's just not going to be considered professional. So as far, the only thing that I'm hearing right now, or the only con of that, is that there's a cap on the amount of money you can borrow. And if you're just going to be a nurse and you're not trying to get like a doctorate, then what does it matter?
And so many people it's a very polarized conversation and people are giving their opinions on it, but I want to share some facts about what exactly is happening with changes and the difference that is being labeled professional versus non-professional degrees. I don't think people have the full picture, and so I'm going to share some facts about what's really happening here. The first thing to note is that these newly proposed classifications are largely based on cost of attendance and the ability to pay the loans back. So if you are now going to be classified, if you're a graduate level student, that's a non-professional degree. So it doesn't mean that it is diminishing the hard work that you've done. It is just a classification for the purpose of determining loan caps. If you are in a degree field that is beyond that, that's now being classified as a professional degree, I'm going to list what these are. Graduate level or non-professional degrees would be nursing, allied health, PT, OT, PA, social work, etc. Fields that will be classified as professional degree are as follows. You have pharmacy, dentistry, veterinarian practice, chiropractic, law, medicine, MD, optometry, osteopathic medicine, podiatry, theology, plus clinical psychology. Now, there's an obvious factor here that immediately stood out to me. It is the earning potential. So the degrees that are going to be graduate level or non-professional degrees, remember, this is all about loan caps. The federal government is trying to figure out how to reduce the burden of student loans. Why? Because we have a student loan crisis in this country. We have a ton of people in this country who are not able to safely pay back their loans. They are defaulting on their loans. You can't get rid of the student loan off of your credit. So this is a major burden on U.S. citizens who have taken out money for higher education. And what has happened is that although they're making a living wage, the interest rates are so high and so costly that they cannot afford to live comfortably and pay their loan in most cases, especially with all of the various changes that happen with loan repayment. And although a lot of people were upset that they're not income-based programs anymore, it is just kicking the can down the road. Although in the immediate you're able to pay less, your interest is literally a death trap. And
she is saying everything that I just said a few minutes ago. There's a reason for this.
it was never going to help either way. It's just a bad situation. And what's happened is you have some people who are saying, well, you should just pay back your loan. You signed it. You're an adult. Yes. Contractually, absolutely, it is your obligation. On the other end of that, the empathetic piece is that a lot of these students are first-time college students who were sold this idea that you must attend college, you must attend university, and all that they did not have the economic means to pay for college, and so many of them didn't even have parents to walk them through this process. I can't tell you, when I went to sign up for school, every single student walked into the financial aid office alone.
People don't mind going into debt for a righteous reason. If they got to go all out for a new car, they'll do that than to take a bus or ride a bike. I'm starting to think a lot of people go to school just to get the debt. It could be just me, but some people just love to struggle.
A lot of people come enter an industry purely for financial stability. It dilutes that profession. People aren't going into the industry for a purpose anymore. They're going in it for financial stability.
For money.
So when I said in my last video, I felt that shift, that was that shift. I don't make the rules. I mean, at the end of the day, nursing is still a sacred profession. It's a sacred calling. We can only go as high as the individuals who enter the profession. And it's just what it is.
Education. Listen, since women care so much about money, they're going into what this woman was just talking about. They're only going to these jobs just for the money. So they're like, all right, well, I'm here. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to be too serious about it, which is why we see like an uproar of nurses or women in these professions. They're earning good money, but they're doing some of the most degenerate things. How many times have we seen a woman being fired because of her clothes, dressing inappropriately, twerking in your uniform? Like, they don't really have respect for the job. They're just there for the money.
While there's a lot of buzz and concern online and within the medical field, ABC News received a statement by the DOE dismissing reports that it's reclassified or excluded nursing as a professional degree program, saying, quote, the department did not update the federal definition of professional degree to exclude nursing, going on to say the definition never included it. Meanwhile, the American Association of Colleges of Nursing says the Trump administration's attempt to implement several measures outlined in the president's One Big Beautiful Bill will limit the loan student nurses can access. Anjali Kamlani is here to break this all down. Anjali, thank you so much for joining me. Can you clear up some of the confusion here and how it got to this point?
Yeah, we know that, of course, the medical professions have been really pressured in recent past, especially because of the shortage of doctors. And what that's really put is the spotlight on nurses to kind of pick up.
So a lot of people are mad on here about the Department of Education changing a lot of degrees from professional degrees to general degrees. A lot of these degrees include things like nursing, engineering masters, business master's degrees. I have a business master's degree myself, and speech language pathologist and other things like that. A lot of people are upset because I think they're under the assumption that this means that our degrees are not professional, or they just demean the value of our degrees. And I had to look into this, and it's not that at all. So basically, they just changed the classification of our degree from a professional degree to a general graduate. So now, to be considered a professional degree, it has to be a doctoral level program or require 6 years of schooling, and a lot of these degrees don't, hence why the classification has been changed. And this is an attempt to help student loan costs and get colleges to lower the cost of schooling. So basically, what the outcome means for us is that there's going to be less money to borrow. So less federal student loans starting July 2026. I think they're capping the amount of money people can borrow, and there's going to be less grad plus loans. So if you rely on student loans, I guess this is bad news for you, but a lot of us who have already graduated, it doesn't really mean anything.
Guys, that's it for today's video. Chime down below, like, did this affect you? Are you one of these nurses that has one of these degrees? From what I've heard, it's just like a lot of ladies complaining, but I find it funny that the only person who did like a little bit of research and who really isn't panicking was the guy who's like, let me just figure out what this is about instead of just getting all into my emotions real quick. But you know, just my observation. That's it for today's video. If you want another video, another good one, check out this one on my left or this one on the right, and I will see you on another one.